everybody. So this is a follow-up video to my ground movement for object manipulators video. In that video I show how to move around without using your hands, so they're free to manipulate whatever object you choose. And in this one I'm going to show you how to incorporate one hand. So we still have a hand free so that we can manipulate our object or objects, and then we have a hand we can post on to get into some planking ideas. I want to start by talking about some variables and how they interact with our body, and that'll kind of give you an idea of the possibilities, because there's a lot of them. And then I'll show you some ideas for getting into one-handed stuff from some of the postures we're already familiar with. So to start, I'm going to talk about the two major variables that interact to make this arm planking stuff happen. So the first variable will be your wrist and this kind of rotation. So back, up, or forward. And that variable is going to affect how we move our body around our wrist, because it will be kind of glued to the ground. It's another point of friction. And then the next variable is going to be our shoulder, and that rotates like this. So we have back, parallel, or forward, and we can operate this variable within any of those. So that's going to, I'll demonstrate some postures that we can get in using those, and then also I will, this is Pete. He's a snuggle bug right now. I'm going to get up the one. So first, to demonstrate what I'm talking about with the wrist, if you have your wrist pointing this way, and it's pointing parallel to my body, I can move 90 degrees in this direction, and I can move 90 degrees in this direction. Now let's say we started, so basically that means wherever my wrist is pointing up, I have a 90-degree window, 180 degrees in all. So if I start with my wrist forward like this, I have that back 180 that I can manipulate my body through without having to re-anchor my hand. So I can go all the way back that way. If my wrist were pointing forward, the inside of my arm, that will be my 180 window. So I can move through there. And now, as I've been demonstrating all of these positions, I've been demonstrating it with my arm sticking out parallel to my chest. I can also, I'm just going to demonstrate the shoulder rotation with my wrist pointing up towards my head. So this is parallel to my chest, my arm right here. I can rotate it so it's perpendicular pointing backwards, or I can rotate it so it's perpendicular pointing forward or down. So that rotation, my shoulder rotation, gives me these variables, and my wrist rotation gives me variables as well. Any of these quadrants with my wrist, I can do all of these postures in. So those are really the only limiting factors with how you align your body to the ground, is these rotations. And I'm not saying it's limited to 180, but for just a safe general movement, you could probably go further if you're really flexible and you feel comfortable. That's up to you to explore. I'm going to stick with 180. Maybe as I get stronger and more flexible, move on. I suggest you get stronger and more flexible before you do the same. Alright, so the next part, let's talk about how we can be sitting in a posture, and from this posture get into a one-handed tripodish position. So, well, shin box. Let's take this one for example. From here, if I was to put my hand right here, my shoulder would be parallel to my body. That one would be sticking out. I can just extend this leg and then plank up onto it. And this gives me like all the leg variables of a side plank. You know, I could be in front or in back. So just from the shin box, I can go into this one where this is available to do bounces. Or I could tuck it back here and get rid of it, or I could bring it up there. But from the same position, if I put my hand down where my foot is in a line, if I put my hand down in line with that, to bring my hips up over my feet, or I bring my knees over my feet and my hips up to my knee level. Boom, like that. So this is the perpendicular to the arm is perpendicular to the shoulder backwards. Boom, it pops right into a shin box. The shin box can go into the closed kneel, which can rotate into a and then standing. So here's a combo to get to the ground, boom, into the tabletop position. Same combo can be used to get into the side plank. Another way to get into the side plank is from an open front kneel. If you bring your weight onto this leg and sweep this one out to counterbalance you, you can really bring your body down close. This is almost a side plank with no arms. So you can get into this position, set your wrist down, and if you want to move, keep in mind how you set it. You know what I mean? So we'll set it like this, so that I can go into my side plank and walk forward and walk all the way backwards. See what I mean? Because it was started out pointing upward. So here's how to get into these ones. Okay. So explore all those ideas from just postures that you're already familiar with. Super basic one, from sitting on your heels, just put your hand down and rock back onto your toes. From here you could really fall in any direction and have a post and start out in a 3-point spot. Now, I'll show you how to move from there to somewhere. Consider a breakdance move. If you're here, swing this around, put your hand down. This is kind of like a side post, but most of your weight is like distributed. Step this back, you're in a side plank that's open. Step this under, and you're in perpendicular to your arm forward, wrist forward, in like a push-up position. So you can use that to move through different postures. You switch the prop, boom. So, and you can go from here directly into any of those. You have one hand free. So that's some ideas for you to explore. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below or message me. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing with this stuff and get some critiques. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this inspires you to play around with this stuff a little more.